So, how'd you like the episode? That was me when I first got it started. Hey, welcome back from my old video. How'd you like it? I hope you were laughing as much as I laughed and as much as Michelle laughed. Today's episode, I'm going to be answering a question that I keep getting, and I've gotten this question now ever since around Christmas time, so Christmas 2018. I've been getting this question a lot, and first off, thank you everyone for asking me this question. That makes me feel like an expert in this field even more because you're looking for my advice more than others and lawyers and CPAs and other lenders and things like that, because that means I must be qualified, right? With my business degree and my background, as well as my mortgage background too. The question that I've been getting is, do you think I should file bankruptcy? I'm in a lot of debt. And the other one I have, let me get over to this, is from a client. I won't say her name, or not a client, but a potential client. I would love to work with you. So if you are watching this video, please know that just schedule a call with me because I do want to help you. Her question is, Christy, I'm in serious debt and I don't know how to make any payments anymore. I lost my job and recently just started at 2 new workplaces to be able to pay off my bills that I'm behind with. However, I need $3,000 for all of this, and no installment loans would accept me as I just started my new employment. Help me, please. So, first off, for this person as well as the other people that have reached out regarding bankruptcy, right? Let's talk about this, okay? Because this subject, I don't even know where to begin to start, okay? So bankruptcy, you know what bankruptcy is, right? That's just waving the flag saying I'm giving up and I'm going to make my life harder by filing bankruptcy because I think it will make it easier because that's what society has told me, okay? So that's what bankruptcy is in my definition. And, first off, with starting a whole wedding venue and that kind of stuff, and I kind of did some notes real fast, and if I look down and reading my little notes, being in the wedding industry, I decided to look up, different wedding companies that have gone bankrupt. And one of them is David's Bridal. They filed bankruptcy in 2018, in November, and they've been in business for 65 years, okay? So we're talking about one of the leading bridal dress companies out there. They filed bankruptcy, as well as another bridal company has filed bankruptcy too, the Alfred and Angelo one. That was a while back though. There's $6 million in debt, $125 million asset loan to keep the stores open. That's what they have. And then they're have a really big competition now, right? Because in the beginning, it was just these few places, but now there's a bunch of boutique bridal stores, and people like relationships, and they're going to all the local boutiques, right? Because you can't do your same business practice forever and ever and ever and expect that things are going to go great. You have to change as the economy changes, as the ecosystem around you changes, as everything around you changes, right? So if you're not staying current with the times, you're falling behind and potentially you're hurting your business. And of course, there's a chapter 13, there's a chapter 7, all that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to bring that up. That's a big person. They have $60 million in debt. They're not behind by $3,000. They're not behind by $20,000 or $50,000. They're only behind by a little bit, okay? And from some of the business intensives I've been doing since around Christmas, and this question that keeps coming up, there's only 3 reasons on why I think someone decides to go bankrupt. And, the 3 reasons would be, number 1, they have a bunch of medical debt. And let me get through this. Please don't turn away on this video. You need to watch to the end. So number 1 is the medical debt, right? They have a bunch of medical debt and they're like, all right, there's no way out of this. I'm just going to have to file bankruptcy. Number 2, it's a job loss or some kind of income loss, right? So they were making a big amount of money. They have their big lifestyle right here. Now they're not making that money, but all the debt that they had and all the bills that they had are up here, and there's no way, it doesn't meet each other, right? So then they file bankruptcy because they're down here right now. They hit a low moment in their life. And then poor money management, right? You get paid and then it's poof, it's gone. It has been spent on some fun stuff that maybe you don't even remember. On clothes you didn't need or nights out that you didn't need, right? So those are the 3 top reasons why I think people file bankruptcy. And so far, let's see, 800,000 people in just the year of 2016, they filed bankruptcy. And all this stuff is sourced online. You can go look it up at the government websites and all their statistics and that kind of stuff. So we had 800,000 people in 2016 file bankruptcy. And out of that, only 30,000 of them were corporations. So the other ones were all the little guys. And I bet you if you go talk to those little guys right now, they're probably still little guys, if not even tinier guys now, because of what happened. And for the people that I've talked to, and I don't know where you're at within your bankruptcy or anything like that, but the people I've talked to, they're not behind that much. Okay, like that one question from that person, she just said that she was behind $3,000, as well as the other person that I helped to get out of debt. She was around maybe $30,000 behind, and she had a bunch of financial stress going on. And the medical, like now I'm going to be switching from my business consultant hat onto my lender hat. Disclaimer, I'm not an active lender right now, and I'm just sharing my professional opinion as well as personal and life experience, and from past stories I have heard from clients, as well as a family member that had to file bankruptcy within their business and how they're doing now. So this stuff is based on that. You don't hold me accountable for any of this stuff. Like, please go talk to a CPA or a lawyer or someone else that like deals with this stuff, but know this stuff going into it, because the more knowledge you have, the more questions you can ask, and the more you know, you're well aware of what is the right direction to take. So if you have medical debt, number one, if you're trying to buy a home, which, you know, everyone needs a place to live, right? So eventually you want to buy a home or live somewhere, and you're like, man, this is ruining my credit, and now I owe millions of dollars on medical stuff. Maybe I should file bankruptcy. Maybe you shouldn't, because your medical debt has already ruined your credit. But when it comes to like applying for a home loan, we don't even look at medical debt, okay? That stuff is not included. What is included is your car that gets repoed, or your foreclosure, or you're not paying your student loans, your credit cards. Hopefully they're staying below 30%. Hopefully you're taking some notes on this. But that's what we look at. Medical debt, that's forgiven. We don't put that in your debt to income ratio. So filing bankruptcy because you had to go through some kind of traumatic situation, whether it was cancer, your baby needed to have surgery or whatever, like, don't sweat it, okay? Relieve that financial stress. Set up a payment plan if you can, and slowly work on it. Call those debt collectors and say, this is what I can do. What can you do for me? Most of the time, you're not going to have to pay the full amount, okay? And if you work with a credit agency, they're going to tell you the same thing, or they're going to go out and do it. Okay, so do that with medical debt. Just try to figure out how you can make a minimum payment, or don't even worry about it right now. If you're not even planning to buy a home or whatever, like, don't sweat it. It's not that big of a deal. It's not a life or death situation, and you can't move on in your life, right? So don't worry about that. Number two, job loss or income loss, right? So this is a big one. Well, when you're down here after losing that income or that job, and maybe it was caused by something else going on, because, you know, your personal and your business life, it all kind of intertwines, same frequency as stuff, right? So if you're down here and your bills and your debts are up here and you don't know how you're going to make it there, well, what can you do, right? So if you have student loans, number one, call your student loan company. They will work with you. You don't want to get behind on federal debt. Okay, so call them, set up some kind of thing where you put a pause on it. Okay, believe me, it works. And if you reach that time period, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, and you have to put a pause on it again, they will allow that. Like the student loan companies, they want to help you. So that's my little tip number one, to help bring down some of those expenses if your income's down, okay? Number two would be just make the minimum payments, okay? We don't need to go and just blow all of our extra cash on paying down that, because if you don't have any money down here going on and you're trying to pay even more to pay off that card faster, you're going to end up using that card again, right? So try to have a little safety net. Try to get one if you don't have one, because, you know, 70% of Americans, they're bank account average at any given moment in time is less than $1,000. That's bad. So make sure that you have some kind of cushion and make those minimum payments. You can even call them. If you have anybody that is a debt collector calling you nonstop, well, you know what you can do? I probably shouldn't be even saying this kind of stuff, but if you literally have no other option and you literally cannot pay them and you're not looking to buy a home tomorrow because obviously you can't, right? You're facing reality. Don't sweat it. I know it sounds crazy, and some of y'all may just think I'm even nuts, but it's okay. I'm just telling you right now, it's not worth the stress. It's not worth the weight gain. It's not worth deciding whether to pay a bill or eat. It's not worth any kind of other mentally, emotionally thing that's going on because of a debt collector calling you all the time, okay? Because you're in a hardship right now. And the more that keeps happening, you're going to be stuck in defense mode. You're not going to be getting out of the hole. And number 3, well, it's really simple. You are going to be acting desperate. And desperation never, ever comes from a good place, and it never leads you to a good place, okay? So don't be desperate. Don't be depressed. Don't be stressed out because you owe money to these collectors. They're going to keep calling you because they don't want you to forget. But you know what? Whatever. You're not going to forget, because how can you? That's what you're thinking about when you don't have anything going on, right? So think about the most important things that have to keep you afloat for now. Put the other stuff on the back burner. That way you can build up that cushion and get ahead and get in the right mindset to get your income back up. That way you can pay them. Or maybe you have to wait for tax season, and then if you're W-2 income, your tax refund goes towards paying off something like that, okay? So there's different ways to go about it. I've even had clients in the past where they have debt collectors calling them all the time, and as we're building up their business, they literally changed the debt collector into the whatever their dream is. So one of them was like, to be featured on Forbes. And so like twice a day, be featured on Forbes was popping up. Talk about a little mindset thing, like, all right, I want to be featured on Forbes. So that's another little thing you can do. But poor money management. Now this is something that's like, this is kind of crazy in my opinion, okay? Because if you're filing bankruptcy because you have poor money management, what is gonna make you change that later? No, it's not gonna happen, right? It's a habit. You have to change it. So if you're falling behind on different things, you need to get ahead and you need to respect your cash flow. So another big tip for anyone watching this would be, go look over your bank statements right now. What things are you paying for on autopilot or subscriptions, that kind of stuff, that you don't need to be paying for? Cancel it. Cancel it. That's simple, right? And then look to see where your money's going and if it's really that worthy, because you need to be thinking as an investor and not as a spender, because spenders go out and they buy, right? And then they have nothing like later, but they had instant gratification. An investor looks at something and says, how is this going to benefit me in the long run? Is this the best thing to buy? I need a salt shaker, let's just say. I'm in my kitchen and it's dark because it's raining outside, but whatever. But like, if you need a salt shaker and this one was like $4 at Tuesday mornings and it came with the pepper too. Or I could buy it, let's say, at Bed Bath & Beyond and get the same salt and pepper shaker. I can't talk. But to get the same thing at Bed Bath & Beyond, this may be $20. So is it financially smart within your decision making to go and buy something from a name brand place to spend more on the same function? Probably not. So that's what being an investor is versus the spender. Like, are you making these smart financial moves within your business, within your life, within your money that you have? Are you swiping your card too much? How are you going to fix all this stuff going on, right? So to answer your question with bankruptcy, I don't truly believe that filing bankruptcy is the way to fix everything. Because I personally have seen a family member that had to file bankruptcy over a decade ago, and still to this day, no home. He's not a homeowner. Still to this day, he's not all that ahead because of that time that he had to file bankruptcy. I'm a true believer that if you're in a tough situation, it's not going to be that tough, right? It is going to feel that way for now, but you're going to make it on the other side. And sometimes there's a better option. So if you have any kind of dream to own a home or to be able to buy even a car without someone co-signing on it, and to truly have your independence, you have to look for alternatives, and you're going to have to come up with another game plan to help get you out of it. And if you're only in it by just a little bit, it's not worth it for you and your family and the added amount of stress of trying to recover from bankruptcy later on. But if you're somebody that, is in tremendous amounts of debt and not just, 4 figures or even 5 figures, then don't sweat it. There's alternative ways, and you have to get creative and think outside the box. Okay, so turn your investing cap on and start looking for other ways and respecting your cash flow. Okay, and just remember that we all go through hardships. We all go through ups, we all go through downs. And it's just sticking with it and getting through it. And I feel like bankruptcy is like literally waving the white flag saying, this is it, I'm done, it's over. And the moment you do that, just remember that it gets really, really hard to come back. It gets really, really hard to not only try to redo your business again, but like mentally and emotionally and spiritually, you feel crushed at that point. And sometimes it even offsets your physical whatever and everything else going on with you. So be mindful and really be resourceful when you can do it, and look over your money habits and look over your actual debt to income ratio. And, if you don't know what that is, like, go Google it. I'm sure I'll have a video on it later. I'm not going to go into that right now because we're closing the video. But look over these different things and go get your free credit report at TransUnion and Equifax and all that kind of stuff. You can get a free credit report, every quarter. But when you get bankrupt, or not bankrupt, when you do, I don't want you to, but if you go through bankruptcy, that is something that sticks with you forever and ever on your credit report, okay? And it's going to reflect. And even though it may disappear after that 7 years, it doesn't necessarily disappear because your credit is still shot, okay? There's faster ways to build up your credit. I've been able to help past clients of mine that were business owners that were going through different funks. I'm just going to call them funks or a flop. We've been able to build up their credit and raise it over 100 points with just in a short amount of period of time, because there's different tricks you can do to get ahead and to not be in the American dream box, okay? Because we don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to have the best of the best, whatever. And if you do, like, that's you. That's your ego. That's your perception on how you think that it has to be. But when you really, truly look at it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need all those things, right? So think outside the box. Maybe sell some stuff. Look over your bank statements like I mentioned. I'm going to keep mentioning that. Respect your cash flow and hang in there and look for alternatives, because it's not the end of the world when you're just a little bit behind. It's just a hardship, and it's not worth stressing over. It's not worth any of that stuff, because you have to truly believe that you're going to make it through and that there is an alternative route before you go and throw in the white towel, right? So that is my little long episode today, all about whether or not bankruptcy is right for you. And I hope it's not, okay? So thanks for watching this episode, and I hope you watch more. Please subscribe to my channel if you know someone that is trying to consider whether they should file for bankruptcy or get another loan or whatever. Have them watch this video. Again, I am not a lawyer. I'm not a CPA. I am not even demanding you to take my advice. I'm just sharing my personal experience and my professional opinion based on what I have seen. Okay, so don't take this like as a stab in the heart or anything like that, or be like, well, it didn't work and now I'm in a worse position because Christy did this, because most likely you didn't listen to all of it if you're just whatever. I just had to say that, just because sometimes people are a little bit mean online or even in real life. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But when it comes to marketing, I always try to make sure that I keep it simple and I keep it very detailed at the same time, because marketing, your messaging when it comes to marketing is all about making sure that you cover dumb, lazy, and mean, okay? And the mean part is not mentioning the disclaimer. The dumb part is really explaining things out. And the lazy part is saying like, hey, don't forget to subscribe to my video. So that is my little video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in to more videos. Follow me online, subscribe, and do all those other really cool fancy buttons or whatever's in the description of this video. And I will catch you on another one. See you later, Wonderpreneurs.